Today I'm going to be talking about the grand challenges to social work. What is the issue? The issue is to stop family violence. Child maltreatment and intimate partner violence are considered a common American tragedy. These forms of violence often predict other forms of violence and most commonly affect women and girls. All violence within the family, including physical violence, emotional abuse, sexual violence, economic exploitation, and other forms of abuse and violence existing in the family, can lead to short and long-term consequences such as physical injury and death. I read the paper entitled Ending Gender-Based Violence. This paper discusses the importance of promoting violence-free relationships and communities and ending gender-based violence. Gender-based violence is a significant social problem affecting millions of American women, girls, and men in their day-to-day lives. Gender-based violence is commonly referred to as domestic violence or intimate personal violence in the United States. There are many serious, even fatal consequences and effects of gender-based violence for one or both partners and their related children. This paper argues that though social work's current measures are inadequate to end gender-based violence, it does indicate that changes can be made in gender-based violence and that the American society is equipped with the resources, tools, and knowledge to move towards nonviolent relationships, as well as families, neighborhoods, and communities that value safety and empowerment of girls and women. This paper indicated that some initiatives to prevent gender-based violence and intimate personal violence include creating healthy teen and parenting relationships, existing emergency shelter programs, screening used to identify who is at a highest risk for lethal violence, and synchronized community responses to system-level barriers. This grand challenge is important to both health and mental health social work in several ways, but I'm going to focus on the grand challenges important to mental health social work. Because there are many psychological responses to experiencing trauma, including gender-based violence, continuing to work towards ending gender-based violence and increasing healthy relationships is important. Trauma can rewire the brain, which can lead to increased cortisol responses to perceived, but not actual, threats over time. This can lead to increased anxiety, PTSD, and depression symptoms in people. Further, fatalities can lead to consequences related to grief in the family and friends of the victim of gender-based violence. All populations are affected and impacted by this grand challenge. Intimate partner violence and gender-specific violence occurs around us all the time. Specifically, the concept paper noted that those who try to provide support for those experiencing gender-based violence are also affected. Therefore, if we are not personally experiencing intimate personal violence, chances are we know someone who is and are indirectly affected by it. There are several lessons that social workers in health and mental health can learn from reading this challenge paper. First, our current efforts matter. By promoting healthy teen and parenting relationships, creating and running emergency shelter programs, and screening for lethal violence levels, we are making a difference. However, we are not doing enough. The concept paper clearly points out that the American society is equipped to handle the change, so we as social workers need to do more. The article suggests using interprofessional and interdisciplinary work to accomplish this. Specifically, the article suggests working with professionals involved in the criminal justice system, advocacy, and health systems. Further, the article suggests social workers challenging the notion that men need to be dominant and exude entitlement. By challenging this notion, social workers can, on a micro level, decrease perceptions of toxic masculinity and work towards decreasing the violence men perpetrate against women and other men. Finally, social workers can evaluate intimate partner violence in same-sex couples and address it sooner rather than later, as it is known that intimate personal violence rates are prominent among this group.